take on a formidable foe in the Northside Grizzlies. So the Springdale Bulldogs are going to have the football first with a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line on their first possession. Springdale bringing out their normal offensive set. Jim-Ed Reed at quarterback. He takes the snap, an inside handoff, and smothered by the defense there, Josh Trollinger. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. It's always an interesting task to come down here to Mayo Thompson Stadium and try to do a football game. Their press box is not what you'd call the most spacious press box in all the world. And so we'll do the very best we can. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Ball is on the 22-yard line. Here's Reed with a handoff again inside. That time it was to Burks. And again, the defensive front for the Grizzlies stuffed that one. Well, I said that was Burks. Let me check that because that was Chris Johnson, I believe, on the run at that point. Well, they say it was Brandon Hobbs, but it appears to be Chris Johnson, number 14. So it's a 3rd down with 7 yards to go, and there you see the offense coming out. There's Reed. He's got a man split out. Hands off to Trollinger. He tries it around left end, tries to get outside and does, and it's going to really depend on his mark. They're going to mark him short, really by only about a half yard. He would have had to have gotten up across the 30-yard line, or at least to the 30-yard line, and he just couldn't get that last yard. So it's going to be 4th and 1 situation, and that's going to bring the punting team on with Corey Wagner as he's going to attempt to hopefully get a good punt out of here. And so Northside, which won the toss and deferred, did exactly what they wanted to do with that. They held Springdale, and now they're going to be receiving the football. Field's in good shape. Really looks good. Springdale splits a couple of men out wide. There's the snap. It's a good snap. Wagner gets a good punt off. Back on the 30-yard line, it's taken. They hand off on a reverse play, but Springdale stays at home, and that really goes nowhere. They're going to get about 6 yards on the return and get the ball up to the 36-yard line. So Springdale was 4 yards and out, or 4 plays and punted on their first possession. And so we'll see what the Grizzlies are able to do in their first possession of this game. Now, this is a very, very pivotal game for both these clubs. You'd have to say, particularly for Northside, as they dropped a close game last week to Fayetteville. Opening handoff inside, and their big banging fullback, number 34, Kenny Jones. And he's quite a fullback for them, 6 foot, 235 pounds. And if you've watched any of the past games with the Grizzlies, you know that Kenny Jones always factors prominently in the mix. So here it is, 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Edwards, the quarterback for the Grizzlies, the senior quarterback, comes down the line, hands off again to Jones. He has good running room. He's up close to 1st down territory. It'll depend on the spot, and it may be that they're going to have to measure this one because it looks very, very close. Well, the official indicates that it is a 1st down, and so Northside picks up the initial 1st down of this game. Springdale opened up with a win last week, of course, against Bentonville, and so they're tied for the lead in the Quad 4A West. Northside, shocked last week by Fayetteville, needs desperately to rebound here. Jones hands off to the tailback. He has great speed, breaks it into the open, and is finally brought down. And I'll tell you what, Tim Williams, game-saving tackle there, also took the official down, but that was quite a play. Bishop was the tailback, and by the time he got to the line of scrimmage, he had quite a head of steam going. He had a good hole opened up there for him by the offensive line of Northside, and he rambled all the way down to the 20-yard line, just outside the 20-yard line, and Northside's threatening early in this game. There's the inside handoff. They miss a couple of tackles, but finally get him down. He's going to pick up a couple of yards, and again, that was Jones. Northside will try to establish the inside game early here in this contest, and then that will open up other things for their offense. They run an I formation. And you see Edwards, the quarterback, comes back into the huddle after having received the signal from the sideline. The only man deep is Bishop at tailback. He drops back, fakes a handoff to Bishop. He rolls out. He gets shellacked right as he threw the ball. Excellent defensive play there by Springdale, but nonetheless, he was able to complete the pass. Jones gets up a little slowly as a result of that. Springdale did an excellent job there on that coverage. Dustin Douglas, who's had himself a fine year. So we're looking at a 3rd and 4 situation for the Grizzlies. Big down here for Springdale. Edwards hands off inside, and they have him smothered. Sean Coble, one of the up men, along with Brian Smith-Peters. And Brian Smith-Peters has had himself quite a year thus far. So a 4th down and long. It's going to be a 4th and 3 situation. And Northside has set up for what would appear to be about a 31-yard field goal. And that's number 10, Henry Gutierrez for the Northside Grizzlies. Springdale can dodge a bullet here. The snap's good. The kick is up. And it's no good, wide to the right. And so the Bulldogs hold. With that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just one moment.
What is pizza integrity?
Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert.
That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza In.
I'm Corporal Michael Stitzel. Maybe you have the power to be one of us.
The Marine.
Well, we're back, and the Springdale Bulldogs begin their second possession, having held. The ball is again on the 20-yard line for Springdale. Burks tries to come around right end, and the Northside Grizzlies quickly close down any opportunity there, and so he's going to pick up maybe about a half yard on the play. So the Bulldogs set up after having held after a good run there by the Northside Grizzlies. And when you're a coach, you always are upset that you waste an opportunity like that. But Springdale playing tough defense, and that's really been one of their hallmarks thus far in this season. Jim Ed Reed at quarterback. Since Johnson in motion, it's the trap play, or the reverse play, excuse me. He gets fair yardage, not the kind of yardage that you would hope to get. Chastain was the running back. And so it's going to be a 3rd down situation and about a long 3 for Springdale. Springdale has of yet not made a 1st and 10 tonight. 6:22 and counting here in the first quarter. A pleasant evening for football after the heat spell that we received last week, if you remember that. Here is Jim Ed Reed, Trollinger in the backfield along with Burks. Burks goes in motion. He's going to hand off to, or fake a handoff to Trollinger, come down the line, and he's going to dive forward for a 1st down. Good play by Jim Ed Reed there. So he faked inside to Trollinger, pulled it out and came around the left end and made the 1st and 10 for the Springdale Bulldogs. A fair contingent of Springdale Bulldogs made their way down the highway. We'll get a shot of them a little bit later as the ball is set up on the 32-yard line. Reed is going to drop back for his first pass of the night. He has Chastain wide open and just tipped away defensively at the last moment. Probably waited just a second or two late to find that. Chastain was all alone by himself. And Reed was just unable to get the ball to him quickly enough. So that'll bring a 2nd down situation for the Bulldogs. As they come to the line. Rick Hammonds, the sophomore center. Reed takes the snap from him, fakes a handoff. He's going to try another pass play. He's rushed. He sets up. And he had a man, and really a little bit of confusion there by the Bulldogs. The ball was underthrown. Appeared that he was throwing to Williams, but just simply could not get it into him. Davenport was also in the vicinity. It's good to see Joe Davenport back in the lineup. He's been suffering from mononucleosis and has recovered enough, at least tonight, to play offense. And if needed in a pinch, coaches said that they might play him on defense. So the Bulldogs, 3rd and 10. 2 passes in a row, incomplete. And so we'll see what the coaches call here in this situation. Reed drops back again, straight drop back, has plenty of time, has a man, and it's caught. Just a wonderful catch by Tim Williams, because he gets thumped right at the moment that ball is perfectly thrown in there. And you can see Williams gets up a little slow, takes a shot right in the kidneys by several Grizzlies. Springdale gets its second first down of this drive, which began at the 20-yard line. Burke and Trollinger in the backfield with Chastain. And we'll see what Reed can do now. He sends Burke in motion. He hands off inside to Trollinger, and he dives forward and will get probably 3 yards on the play. Again, we hope that we can show you some of the Bulldog fans that made the trip down. Not as many maybe as perhaps in years past, but still maybe 200-300 Springdale Bulldog fans made that trip down 71. Tell you what, if you want a thrill driving down Highway 71, you ought to go in our van. Now that really is a thrill. Here's Jim Ed Reed on 2nd and 7. He fakes a handoff inside. He drops back. He's going to be rushed. He finds Davenport in the middle of the field. He's going to be given his forward progress down to the 45-yard line. It's going to be very, very close to a 1st and 10 situation. And it really will depend upon the referee's mark. And I believe that he's going to have it without any problem at all. The Springdale, well, as I say, has no problem at all. They're going to take a timeout and measure that. We'll pay attention to this, try to get you a shot. From my vantage point, they've got it by at least a half a length of the football. But stranger things have happened in football, so we'll see just exactly what is the official call. We're at 4:10 in the first quarter. Springdale putting together a good-looking drive here. And my prognosticating is accurate tonight. 1st and 10 Springdale by half a length of the football. Springdale inside Northside territory for the first time. The nose of the football is just right at the 45-yard line. There you see the Springdale offense breaking the huddle, coming to the line. A line that has performed admirably thus far this year, and they'll need to play their very best tonight. It's a quick pitch outside. Oh, and he's just wrapped up very quickly. Just an excellent play there. That was Chris Johnson, and really had nowhere to go. He's going to lose about a yard or so on the play. Just a little quick pitch. And one of the things that Northside is always known for is their speed. Joe Fred Young, in his 14th year at Northside, always puts together a good football team, and these two teams in the last decade or so have really battled it tooth and nail in almost every ball game. 2nd down, 11 yards to go. Burke goes in motion. Springdale's going to drop back for another pass. He's got several men open. Davenport had a chance at the ball. The defensive back broke on it late, and the pass was broken up. I tell you what, down the left sideline, Clay Galloway was wide open, and Reed was unable to see him. So it brings up a 3rd and 11 situation with 3:15. There you see Joe Dean Davenport. They say Davenport lost a considerable amount of weight trying to gain that back now. 3rd and 11, ball's at the 46-yard line of the Grizzlies. You would think pass, good protection. Reed lost it up long. He's got Johnson, and it's going to be intercepted, and he's going to be out of bounds. And I suppose you could say that's almost as good as a punt. Ball was intercepted at the 15-yard line. Reed threw it up. And just a good play by the defensive back. And Reed sort of hung that ball up there, and that gave the defensive back time to adjust and come back to it. And I would imagine the coaches, as you watch them talking to Reed, are going to tell him, you got to really put that thing in there with some zip. So from the 15-yard line, Northside has their second possession, having stopped the Bulldogs. Inside handoff to the tailback, and he gets a head of steam going and finally is banged down there by several Springdale Bulldogs, primarily. From our vantage point, at least it looked like Ben Weber was the final one to bring him down, the linebacker. Member of the defensive set for Springdale, Brian Smith-Peters, Harold Simmons, Corey Wagner, and in for Joe Davenport is Sean Coble with Dustin Douglas as the other defensive end. Well, we've got a timeout. It's going to be called. And we're going to take a break with this timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
This guy can fly.
Space technology of the 21st century. It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
Well, welcome back as the Northside Grizzlies have taken a timeout with 2:36 left in the first quarter. Some confusion on their part. Situation is second down, 7 balls at the 18-yard line, and they break the huddle as they prepare to run this play. Quarterback for the Grizzlies, Matt Edwards, the senior play caller. He's a quick pitch back to the tailback. Good play by the Springdale Bulldogs. And I tell you what, Josh Trollinger really forced the play there and was brought down by a couple of other Bulldogs. Bishop just was unable to get his momentum going. That brings up a third down situation. Yeah, I'm going to call it 3rd and 8. Coaches along the sideline for Northside signaling in the calls. Edwards has a play. You'd think on 3rd and long like this it would be a passing situation, although with Bishop the draw play would not be a bad call. It's a rollout play by Edwards. He's got a man wide open and he's completed to him. Good route ran that time by Arthur Burks. He just ran down and did a button hook, and Edwards found him wide open and drilled the ball right into him and gives the Grizzlies a first down. The ball is marked at about the 32-yard line, almost the 33-yard line. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. Edwards, 5'8", 173, senior. He comes down the line of scrimmage, looks at the defensive set. A great defensive play. And I tell you what, this young man has really had a campaign thus far. Dustin Douglas made a tremendous play there. And they're going to stop him for about a half yard on the carry. So Springdale did a good job stringing that one out. And really Edwards had no place to go, but did pitch the ball out at the last second. Dustin Douglas made just a tremendous play, but I'm not sure that the running back would have gone very far anyway. Jones, the lone setback. It's a drop back pass. Edwards flushed out of the pocket, and he really gets thumped. He's going to get about to the 30-yard line, and I know we've been calling this young man's name, but Dustin Douglas also in there. Brian Smith-Peters as well in there making a big play. Douglas and Smith-Peters have had a good season thus far, and they've really been making some big play for the Springdale Bulldogs there. All right, the situation now is 3rd and 12 is what they're marked at. Edwards drops back, looks deep for a man, and a little bit of a collision. And I tell you, a wingback for the Grizzlies kind of pointing around, but really there wasn't any call there whatsoever. He just quit on the route, and the ball went sailing over his head. So Springdale has held, and the Grizzlies are going to be forced into a punting situation. There's 6 seconds left in this quarter, and this will be the last play of the quarter, and after that we'll take a break. There you see the receivers for the Bulldogs. Josh Trollinger, one of the deep men. There's the snap. It's a good one. The kick is off, and it's a good high kick. The Bulldogs call for a fair catch, and they're going to have it at the 27-yard line. And there you hear the loudest buzzer in the Quad 4A West, signifying the end of the quarter with the score 0-0. We're going to take a break, a 1-minute break, and we'll be back in a moment.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bring the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is true blue.
Well, we're back at the beginning of the second quarter. The Bulldogs have a 1st and 10. Inside handoff, and it's going to make about 3 yards there. And we've got Burks was the carrier there. So it took me a while to decide who had what where. Burks kicks up about 2 yards, maybe 3. They're going to call it 2nd down and 8. Both teams able in the first quarter to put some drives together, but not able to get it into the score, any score. Northside came the closest, missed on the 31-yard field goal. Chastain in motion for the Bulldogs. Reed drops back, looks for Williams, and he finds Davenport instead underneath. He had Williams deep, and they dropped off on him. It left Davenport open, and Davenport makes a crucial 1st down for the Bulldogs, and they're going to be out to the 46-yard line, their own 46-yard line. Joe Davenport, one of the major college prospects on the field tonight, and there are a couple from Springdale as well. Their big defensive tackle Josh McMillan is also being highly touted by recruiters, so we'll see what he's able to do tonight. There's a handoff to Burks, a sweet play, and he just nearly gets his head taken off, and they may mark him for a loss of about a yard or so. And it looked like Bishop, to me, the linebacker, brought him down. That's a 2nd down for Springdale. Clock is rolling at 10:45. 2nd and 11. 47-yard line. The ball is sitting. Reed drops back, and he lets loose the ball. Has a man, but just was unable to get to it. He was hit at the last moment. Thus far tonight, the offensive line of Springdale has been able to give him good coverage. And Springdale really putting the ball up in the air a lot tonight. 3rd and 11 may be another passing situation for them. There you saw a shot of Chris Johnson walking to the huddle. 5'11", 174-pound senior. Williams comes split out for the Bulldogs. Trollinger and Burke with Chastain are with Reed in the backfield. Chastain comes in motion. He's picked up by the outside linebacker. They have a blitz. And the Bulldogs are running a screen play. And that is simply a case of the right call at the right time. And on a screen play, the offensive linemen let their man go through and then fade out into the flat and wait for the little toss pass to the running back. That time, Reed didn't even have a chance. Corey Wagner in for a 2nd punt of the night for him. One other Springdale drive stopped by an interception. So Springdale, after having a first down made, is going to be stopped and have to punt. Wagner gets a low kickoff, drives the defender back, or the receiver back to about his 18, and he runs back trying to get some more yardage before he's just mauled by the Springdale Bulldogs. Burke was the first one down there, and then just a whole lot of Springdale Bulldogs brought him down. And so the ball is going to be marked just beyond the 20-yard line. Springdale Band is not with us tonight, but what we're going to do is bring you last week's band performance. Hopefully, if we can get one of our decks working. Otherwise, you may just see the second half immediately after the first half. We got a player down, and so we've got an injury timeout. Northside Grizzly is hurt here along the sideline. There you see a shot of that young man. Not really sure at this point. 66, Josh McMillan, and that would be a big, big loss for the Grizzlies. He's going to want to go back in, but one of the rules of high school football, you get a timeout call because of an injury, you got to sit out one play. So I don't know why they think they can send him back in. McMillan, 6'4", 258 pounds, so he's a big prospect. And right now, he may just have his bell rung a little bit. Well, Edwards comes in with the play. There's some of the crowd that were here for the Grizzlies. Old Mayo Thompson Field. The field itself's not bad. It looks good. You can tell it's a little bit worn. Edwards, a little bit of a mix-up there. Now we're going to have our first penalty of the game. If you may have ever come down here to Mayo Thompson, you'll know that it's not the best football stadium in terms of stand, older stadium. Maybe about 1,000, 2,000 people on hand for this contest tonight. As we mentioned, several Bulldog fans, and we maybe get a shot of the Bulldogs in the stands in just a moment. Let you see maybe yourself if you made the trip. Pretty drive. The leaves just starting to turn. Hope you like that drive because we're going to be making it a couple of more times this year. Well, here's Edwards with a 1st and 15 situation. They run an inside play, and I tell you, the running back there just kept stringing it along, and that was Kenny Jones. He's a tough one to bring down. He's at 6 foot, 235 pounds. He's got good speed as well. That's a second down now for the Grizzlies. He gets up to about the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 10. 8:40 and counting. Bulldog shift, hopefully in a better set. Good running play, finally brought down by the Bulldogs. That was for Springdale 21, Butch Walker, and it's good to see Butch Walker back in the lineup once again after having been out for a couple of weeks. And Butch, we hope you hang in there. He's had some of the great plays, and last year made some tremendous plays in this ball game against the Grizzlies. So far, a defensive struggle. Neither team being able to break up on top. Edwards taking a long time. Unsure really exactly why. He finally gets up under center, and he barely gets the ball handed off. And I'll tell you what, that was very reminiscent of Springdale's first ball game in Jinx, as they had the running back stopped cold and just did not wrap him up. And on second, third effort, he goes forward to make a 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. 7:40 and counting. Springdale 5 men on the line. Well, you saw what happened there, and it really doesn't need a whole lot of commentary. Bishop just kept plunging forward, and several broken tackles, and all of a sudden Northside is up close to midfield, putting together a small drive. Edwards, the ball is fumbled, and Springdale's going to fall on it. No indication there what happened, but that's exactly the break that Springdale needed, and Dustin Douglas recovers the ball. I didn't see it. I'll have to watch the playback to find out what happened there, and that gives me a good chance to remind you that our playbacks occur every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And we have a legal procedure on the Grizzlies, and of course Springdale decides to decline that. And the Springdale fans across the way on their feet as the Bulldogs will have a 1st and 10 from just inside the 35-yard line. Here comes the Bulldogs with their offensive line of Rick Hammonds, Mark Blackwell, Clint Penalto, Jonathan Lewis, and Lloyd Meeks. Joe Davenport in at tight end. That's Chastain in motion. Reed comes down the line of scrimmage, fakes the handoff. Boy, I tell you, that was a great defensive play by Brian Bray, the nose guard. He's only 5'7", 182 pounds, but what quickness he had. He caught Reed from behind. Had he not tripped Reed up, Reed could have probably made at least 5 yards or so on the carry. There you see the Bulldogs in the huddle. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. 6:33, and Springdale needs to convert on this error that the Grizzlies made here. Reed slipping, finally gets the ball off to Trollinger, and Trollinger does just an excellent job of running there, and he does what the Grizzlies had been doing. He breaks a couple of tackles. One of the things I said last week about Josh Trollinger was he runs the football just like you coach a running back to run it. He never stops his feet moving, driving forward, and there's a good indication of what can happen when you don't quit on a play. Really off balance. Reed slipped on the field, just got it off. We got an official timeout here. It's probably equipment. And we're set. 5:48 as the ref starts the 25-second clock. There's Reed setting up. Burke comes this direction in motion. Reed hands off inside to Trollinger, and he's going to be very, very close to the 1st down. If I was in the striped shirt, he'd have the 1st down, but referees being what they are, move the ball back. I'm not going to get into that discussion this week, but it's going to be short by about a ½ yard. They're going to measure, but it's way short. I don't even know why they're bothering with the measurement. This one is a half ball length short. While we're waiting on this, let's just say a word of appreciation to our sponsors who make this possible. Worthen Bank, Pizza Inn, and indeed a half ball short. I called it right, about a football short. Okay, let's don't quibble. And we also thank First National Bank, and of course Elmdale Baptist Church has been a sponsor with us from the beginning. We're thankful to have them. Fourth and 1, and of course the Bulldogs are going to go for it here. Let's see what they play. Everybody up tight. Reed comes down the line, and he just looks for an opening, dives forward for the 1st down. Now that's a play I've not seen Springdale run in that situation. A lot of times you just see the quarterback sneak. That's a horrible mark. That is absolutely the worst mark of a football that I've ever seen. That's horrible. Well, he came down the line, he'd faked a handoff and was just looking for a hole which he could get forward. 1st and 10, and I tell you what, that is absolutely one of the worst marks I've ever seen. He had that 1st and 10 by at least about a full ball length more than that, but whatever. Springdale sets up with another 1st and 10 just inside the 25-yard lines. We're under 5 minutes now in the 1st half. So here's Reed. Takes a handoff, hands inside to Johnson. He cuts back, fumbles the football, and Northside falls on it, and they have a 1st and 10. Johnson was tackled in such a way that the ball was stripped from him. There was no Bulldogs around to cover the ball, and so this has really turned into a defensive struggle. Both teams squandering chances, and the Bulldogs, with the best opportunity they've had of the night, turned the ball over. Their 2nd turnover tonight. They've had 1 interception and 1 fumble. So here we see Northside again for halftime trying to put something together. They hand off inside. And again, unable to wrap him up as he dives forward. Jones, the fullback, picks up about 6 yards on the play. Walker is one of the ones who brought him down. Second down situation. Second and 4. Edwards drops the ball, and he just gets smothered. And they try to knock the ball out. And I tell you what, Brian Smith-Peters, Dustin Douglas, how many times have we called those two young men's names? And so Northside averts disaster there. And for Springdale, that's good because it sets them all the way back to about the 21-yard line, just outside the 21-yard line. It'll be a 3rd down and 9 situation. There you see a good shot of the ball. Ralph Siebert, our ground cameraman, draw play, good running room. Well, I tell you, that was just a good run by Bishop, the tailback. Now the problem with Bishop is the tailback deep in that backfield. By the time he gets the ball, if there's just a little crack there, he's going to go through it. He gets such a head of steam up. And so from the 35-yard line, Northside has a 1st and 10. Edwards tried a little misdirection play. We have a flag on the play. And it looks like it may be motion against the Grizzlies. So far tonight, really very few penalties. I believe a couple of penalties so far in what has become a low-scoring defensive game. And it does appear to be on the Grizzlies as the officials talking it over. Get the indication now. Illegal procedures, the call. That's a 5-yard penalty, so it'll be 1st and 15 for the Grizzlies. Partisan crowd here doesn't like it. I'd forgotten about Mayo Thompson. One of the things that was we're up here in the press box right by the horn, and you'll know almost before I know when the half or quarter comes because it's one of the loudest signals that I have encountered. 35-yard line is where Edwards will set up. He comes down the line, pitches off. Springdale defenders do a good job. Walker helps out in there, and he gets about, well, he gets good yardage, almost 10 yards. It's going to be a 2nd down and about 3 situation. A well drawn up play by the Grizzlies. They send a man down in a sort of a crackback situation and then just try to get to the corner. And Edwards has a pitch man trailing him there. Edwards, Jones, and Bishop. Edwards is going to drop back. He's got a man wide open, finds him. He eludes 2 tacklers and is finally brought down. 225. Springdale is being threatened upon. The ball is now at the Springdale 44-yard line. Grizzlies showing some offensive power here. And Edwards has surprised me at least. Good passer. Fumble. The Bulldogs fall on it. And the Bulldogs, boy, thus far leading a charmed life. A couple of key turnovers, and there was absolutely no explanation for that turnover because I don't think anyone was even near Jones. I don't know if he was switching the ball or what, but it came bounding out. And there were several Bulldogs around. And so Springdale has a chance with 2:13. The ball is on their 42-yard line. And it will probably guarantee, at least from the Northside standpoint, that there won't be a score. We'll see if Springdale can, at the very least, run the clock out. Hopefully, with just under 2 minutes, they themselves will be able to get some points on the scoreboard. Reed hands off inside to Trollinger. He dives forward. Crosses a 45-yard line. Is going to be marked at about the 47, so that's about a 5-yard pickup for Trollinger. Clock is moving at 1:37 and counting before the halftime. 0-0 is our score here from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Here are the Bulldogs coming to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down, 5. Trollinger is the lone setback A handoff to Trollinger, tries to cut back. He gets right to midfield and is going to be stopped there. That'll be a 3rd down situation for Springdale and about 2 yards to go. Northside does a good job of at least striping their field. The numbers are easy to see, and it looks all in all to be in pretty good condition. Well, see what Springdale does here. The clock is running, and Springdale's going to call, well, I thought they were going to call a timeout, but they decide to run with the play. Got about 5 seconds left on the play clock. There's the handoff to Trollinger. He gets smacked. I mean, he got smacked. And had he not been hit that hard, just his motion would have given him a 1st down. But number 32, I don't have, they're going to measure that, but I can tell you it's about a half yard shy of a 1st down. I think I've got a better vantage spot than the officials for once in my life. That stops the clock. Of course, Northside probably, if Springdale doesn't make this, will be wary. They're about a half yard short. They'll be wary of what happened last week. Who can ever forget? And what at that point was still a tight ball game against Bentonville. Sean Friesen. And Bulldogs are going to take a timeout. With that, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in just one moment.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
I'm Corporal Michael Stitzel. Maybe you have the power to be one of us.
The Marines.
4th and 1 is the situation, 26 seconds, and the Bulldogs are going to go for it. And Reed comes around the end. He makes the 1st and 10. And inside Northside territory, there's 21 seconds left on the clock, and Springdale's going to call a timeout. And we'll take one more timeout for halftime. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout.
Baby cries, and Mama rocks away the harm.
Every day, abortion denies 4,000 tiny unborn babies the right to live, the right to be loved, the right to take that first big step. 4,000 abortions a day, 1,500,000 abortions a year is a lot of love denied.
Well, we're back, and the situation is the Bulldogs have the ball at Northside's 42-yard line. That's the good news. The bad news is there's only 21 seconds left in a tight defensive football game thus far. Here you see the coaches trying to call what you'd have to think would be some kind of razzle-dazzle play. 21 seconds left, maybe 2 plays in high school football. And it really depends on where the ball is marked. Here's Reed. Trollinger, the lone setback. He's going to drop back, and he's going to throw the ball to Davenport, and several defenders. It was out of bounds at any rate. 14 seconds left. You almost have visions of Colorado versus Michigan when you see a play like that from now on. We hope the Bulldogs can do something like that indeed. 14 seconds left. Ball's at the 42-yard line. Thanks for watching this exclusive playback. Just to remind you, if your business would like to help sponsor this, we've got plenty of openings in our sponsor lineup. Just give us a call. Here's Reed. He's going to be rushed by. There's the ball is off and intercepted. So with 6 seconds left, Reed throws his second interception, and again, almost like a long punt. Now, the Springdale Marching Band did not make the trip down Highway 71 this time, so we won't be able to bring you anything in terms of performance by them tonight. 6 seconds, and it's counting, and they probably will not even get the play off, and they don't. So the score 0-0. We're at halftime, and after this break, we'll come back with the second half. Second half, Corey Wagner kicks off, just takes a couple of steps, kicks it high, gets fielded about the 21-yard line, and Corey Wagner has to make almost a game-saving tackle. The man moves inside of him, but is finally brought down, and wasn't able to see exactly who brought him down there. Jeremy McGibbony saved the touchdown, and so Northside starts out with a bang. They're going to begin at the 45-yard line, 11:54 in a quarter to go. It's what's been a defensive ball game thus far. Northside gets a big break to begin this second half. Quarterback draw, and he's going to get about 4 yards. Edwards just took a step back and began his dash forward. The Bulldogs quickly covered on that. One of the Grizzlies tying his shoe. And he's back set. That's the split in. Arthur Burks. There you see the play being called by the Grizzlies. Kind of a humid night in Fort Smith, second down, 6 yards to go. It's pitched back to the tailback. He cuts back, breaks a couple of tackles, but he's going to be brought down. Great tackle there by Dustin Douglas. Oh, I tell you, Dustin Douglas has made the plays for the Bulldogs, and I always get tickled when he gets up, boy, gets up and looks at the sideline, holds his hands up. Look what I did. Good play there. The Bulldogs had good coverage on that. Third down 7 from the 43. Northside was able to convert on several third down plays. Edwards, very accurate passing in the first half. Let's see what he does here. Hands off to the tailback. They've got him stopped. And he's going to get inside the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him at almost the 38-yard line of the Bulldogs, but that's still going to be well short. Fourth down situation. And it appears that the Grizzlies are going to punt the ball away. So Springdale averts a disaster on that short kickoff that was fielded and then ran for about 40, well, actually it was about 30 yards or so, 35 yards. And so the Bulldogs have held 9:55 and counting. Back deep is Josh Trollinger. There's the snap, and it's a good snap. Good high spiraling kick. Bulldogs get away from it. The ball's going to be down. Boy, they're going to mark that down. That's, well, you know, I don't have a striped shirt on, but if I had one on, the ball would be on the 20-yard line, because it did look like he was going to down it, but he fell into the end zone. I don't sure exactly what the reasoning or rationale was for that, but that's why those men are down there and I'm up here. So the Bulldogs are going to have to go 99.5 yards for any kind of score here. There you see where the ball sets. First down, 10 yards to go. And I mean to tell you, Northside playing the field position game now has got the Bulldogs backed up. Springdale breaks the line of scrimmage, and Reed's going to have just a few seconds left, and he's going to hand off inside. Trollinger, I believe. And he's going to get about a half yard. And there you see good coverage. And maybe we'll give you a shot, show you where the ball's at. Camera 2, I believe, is Jeff Kynes on that camera. Springdale comes in with the play call. There you see a little bit from our ground camera just beyond the 1 yard line at about the 2 yard line. So it'll be second down, officially 9 yards to go. Springdale really needs to get a first down here. Reed just sneaks out, and that's kind of surprising. You'd think that he might have done that on the first play instead of the second. Now they've got a little bit of breathing room from this standpoint. And we'll see what Coach Williams sends in. Third and about 7 yards to go. Ball is on the 4 yard line. This will be a big play. Even if the Bulldogs didn't make a first down, they sure need to get some yardage to give Corey Wagner some kind of a cushion there in the end zone. Pass play, Reed in the end zone. He can run it, and he does. He's going to make a first down. Reed had no one out there with him, and he sort of thought about it and looked again and finally tucked up, and he makes a crucial 1st and 10 as he gets out across the 15 yard line. There you see a good shot of Jim Ed. So the Bulldogs dodge a bullet there, getting the ball out and have now some room to breathe. Really, that was almost a 1 down series, 2 downs just to get him some breathing room, and Reed made a scrambling play out of that one and picked up about 12, 15 yards. Johnson in motion. And he hands off to Trollinger, tries to cut back, and he's going to get up to about the 20 yard line. Good tough run by Trollinger there. Trollinger been the workhorse for the Springdale Bulldogs this season. Second down and about 6 yards to go. The ball's right at the 20 yard line. Again, the offensive line for the Bulldogs: Rick Hammonds, Clint Penalto, Mark Blackwell, Lloyd Meeks, and Jonathan Lewis. Burks, Trollinger in the backfield with Chaz Stain. They send Williams out wide. Burks in motion. Reed's going to try to pass. He's got good blocking. Finally, he's flushed out of the pocket. Is here receiving some pressure. Throws the ball, but it's caught out of bounds by Williams, and I don't know that Reed just wasn't putting that one up to throw it away. Good heads-up play by Reed there. He had an opportunity to connect with Williams. He did, but it was out of bounds by the time he caught it. So it's a 3rd down and 6 situation. And you kind of hate to brag on people thus far in the game, but the Springdale offensive line has really done a very good job containing Northside on the pass rush. You'd think this would probably be a passing down. One thing we've not seen thus far, to my knowledge, for the Bulldogs is a draw play. Johnson and Trollinger in the backfield. Reed does a fake to Trollinger, screen pass to Johnson. He cuts back inside, has a 1st and 10, gets across the 30 yard line. Good running by Johnson. And really a good play by all the Bulldogs concerned there. Good execution by the Springdale Bulldogs. Reed faked to draw play to Trollinger. We just talked about that, and then rolled out and found a man open. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 32 yard line. So the Bulldogs have already gone 32 yards or so, at least 31 and a half. 6:24, Reed. Comes up inside, hands off to Burke on the sweep play. And Burke's going to pick up maybe a couple of yards on that. That's just been a difficult play for Springdale tonight with the speed of the Northside Grizzlies. Northside's always known for their fast athletes. And I tell you what, this is shaping up to be another classic Bulldog-Grizzly battle, as it could very well come down to the wire. As we're moving down under 6 minutes in the 3rd quarter, still no score. Both teams have been able to move the ball, make 3 or 4 first downs before disaster may strike them. And hopefully Springdale can put something together here. From the 35 yard line, Reed drops back. He's flushed out of the pocket, throws on the run, and just really threw the ball away. Well, the partisan fans here want a penalty flag, but he's going to get away with one maybe. As Reed on the run, that's really one of the first times that any kind of pressure caused him to hurry anything. And so at 5:36, the Bulldogs have a 3rd and 8. Been able to convert on a couple of 3rd down plays in this drive, and once again, they're going to need to do it here. Impressive play thus far by the Bulldogs, just not able to put it all together. Maybe they will in this play. There's the draw play, the Trollinger, and he has no place to go, wrapped up by several Grizzlies, and so the Bulldogs appear to have been stopped after making a couple of 1st downs. Trollinger just had no place to go. Coy Wagner in for punting duties, and at least from Springdale's standpoint, Coy Wagner's standing inside his 20 and not inside his own end zone. 4th down 11. Springdale sends 2 men split wide. There's a snap. It's a good snap. Good low spiraling punt is going to be taken by a Grizzly, and he's going to be wrapped up. Jason Price, one of the first ones down there. The ball is going to be the Grizzlies just outside the 35-yard line with 4:50 left. The Grizzlies will have their 2nd possession of the 2nd half. There's Price, who was one of the ones who hustled down, did a good job covering the punt. Well, here we are with Edwards coming out, and we'll see what he can try to put together. He comes down the line, hands off to the tailback. Good coverage by the Bulldogs. Trollinger and Wolf in there. He's going to make a couple of yards. He's really smacked hard by the defenders there. A lot of banging going on in this football game, and several young men going to be pretty sore in the morning. Here's the shot of the defenders. 2nd down, 8 yards to go, 38-yard line. Edwards trying to put something together for the Grizzlies. Comes down the line, tries to cut it back up, breaks a couple of tackles, finally brought down. I tell you what, that's a great run for a little 5'8" quarterback. He eluded several tacklers and just strengthened his way through some tackles, and Northside's going to have a 3rd and about a 2 situation. Ball's going to be just on the other side of the 45-yard line, the 44-yard line. Edwards, same play this side, tries to cut it up. He does so, is hit with a ferocious tackle, but bounces off and has a 1st and 10. Edwards just elusive. Got up to almost the 49-yard line. The Bulldogs looked as if they had him contained, but Edwards was able to slip loose of that. So the Grizzlies put a 1st and 10 together here at this point. Edwards hands off to the tailback, and he's finally dragged down after he gets by a couple of tacklers. Ben Weber brings him down, but not before he picks up almost 6 yards. They're going to give him 5 yards on the pickup. 2nd down and 5. There you see the defense. And Ben Weber holding his hand. Hope he hasn't hurt that. Stays in the game, though. Edwards fumbles the ball. A Bulldog appeared to be on it immediately, but no indication yet. Bulldogs have recovered the football. Big break for the Springdale Bulldogs, as they'll now have possession at their own 48-yard line, and so the Grizzlies have had disaster strike them once again. They're having a hard night. Both teams just can't seem to get things untracked, put together a couple of 1st downs, and then we'll have some kind of turnover happen to them. So let's see what Springdale can do now. 1st and 10. 2:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Wing T offense for the Bulldogs. Reed comes down the line on a rollout play. Little pitch, almost just Little jump pass almost to Kirby Burks. He's going to be down inside Northside territory with a 1st and 10 just outside the 35-yard line. I started to say just a little jump pass, and that's just about what it was, as he rolled out to his left and just tossed the ball over a couple of Northside Grizzly defenders. Burks caught it. And the short passing routes for the Bulldogs appear to be open. Burks driven out of bounds when 1st and 10 made. Bulldogs set up in their familiar wing tee set. Tim Ed Reed at the helm. He hands off inside. I think that was Johnson, but I'm not really sure. We'll see who it was, and it was indeed. He's going to make maybe about a yard on the carry. So 145 and counting. Bulldogs have a 2nd down and 8 situation on the Grizzlies' 34-yard line, and at some point one of these teams has to break loose and put some points on the scoreboard. Trollinger, the lone setback. Good blocking by the Bulldogs. He's got a man open. He finds Chastain. He dives inside the 20. They're going to mark him at just inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. That'll be, of course, a 1st and 10. And the Bulldogs doing it through the air tonight, showing a rather diverse offense. Ball really resting on the 20-yard line just inside. Here you see the offense as they break the huddle. And the way things have been going defensively, it may not take many points on the scoreboard to put this one away. Trollinger takes a handoff. He has good running room initially. Falls forward to about the 16-yard line is where they're going to mark it. Burks coming in for Johnson now. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the coaches call here at this point. Corey Wagner in some of the practices, if you've seen any of the pregame warm-ups last week, was hitting about 40-yard field goals. And it might be interesting to see what the coach may call. Reed's coming down the line with the ball. There, he's got nowhere to go. Pulls it in and dives inside close to, well, they're going to mark him about the 11-yard line, and that's going to mean that we're going to be faced with about a 3rd and 1 situation. 3rd and 1 for Springdale, and so this is a big down for the Grizzlies as well. Springdale, I believe, their deepest penetration of the night thus far tonight. Northside one time in the first half got down this far and missed on a field goal. 15 seconds and counting. There is the handoff. Trollinger's got the 1st and 10. He's inside, fumbles the football. Northside recovers. My goodness. Well, I tell you, thus far in this game, that's the storyline. Turnovers, both teams. It's almost like no one wants to win this thing. It looked like Springdale had its best chance, and how many times do you see a running back on about the 3rd effort get stripped of the football? He'd have been better off to fall down the first time. There's the buzzer at the end of the 3rd quarter. The score is still Springdale 0, Northside 0. We'll be back after this break.
We're on a first-name basis in communities from Magnolia to Mountain Home. We back the hometown heroes in dozens of high schools throughout the state. And for years, we've helped with first dates, weddings, and second homes. Last Saturday, we made the loan for the boat and had quick cash for the bait, too. In fact, wherever you live, a little of us will rub off on you. Because no matter where you go in Arkansas, the local color is true blue.
You're watching one of the world's most advanced big screen televisions on the market today. It's made by RCA. It's like bringing the theater home to you. Let Layman's bring a big screen RCA into your home.
Free delivery and in-store financing available. Open 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Layman's Furniture, Appliance, and Electronics, 509 East Emma, downtown Springdale. And tell them WL sent you.
Well, as we begin the fourth quarter. The ball's on the 4-yard line. Springdale just turned it over again. And we'll see what the Bulldogs are able to do here. They need to get the ball back. There's a fumble. He picks it up. My goodness. Edwards dropped the ball from center, picked it up, and makes almost 5 yards and gets out to the 10-yard line, which I suppose officially would be about a 6-yard gain. The ball was really just inside the 5-yard line, and so it's going to be 2nd and 4. There you see the defense for the Bulldogs. Sean Coble, Smith Peters, hand off to the tailback. He's off to the races. One Bulldog to catch him and brings him down. They try to strip the ball from him, but they're unable to do that. Tim Williams finally brought him down. Big play by the Grizzlies. Bulldog comes up with a football, but they're going to give it to the Grizzlies. He's going to be marked. Well, hang on here. We've got some confusion. We have a flag on the play, and it's all going to come back. Illegal motion is the call, and the Bulldogs celebrate, and Northside begins to boo. Hey, listen, you know what? Everybody gets the wrath of the official one time or another. So Springdale gets a big break there because that was a great run. And they would have had the ball at about the 38-yard line of Springdale. Flag was thrown by the far sideline judge. And so that's going to back up the Grizzlies. There you see the ball back to the 5-yard line, 2nd down. We'll do that one all over again. And that may look good on tape, but that play is just as good as never existed. By the time the ball snapped, be under 11 minutes. Edwards rolls out to his left, ran the option play. He gets smacked down by the Bulldogs. He's going to be marked at about the 11-yard line. Edwards, not a very big quarterback, but has good quickness. And 3rd down situation and 4. And boy, for Springdale, you really want to stop them here and make them punt, play field position, because there are not going to be many opportunities left in this football game. That could have been backfield motion. They run the option play, and they do not get the man down in time. He's brought down by Walker. Well, excuse me, he's brought down by Bewley, but he gets a 1st and 10. Out to, well, they're going to mark him at the 18-yard line. The Bulldogs had the initial penetration, but just couldn't bring him down, couldn't get their hands wrapped around him, and so Northside makes a crucial 1st and 10. If you remember last year, I believe these two teams struggled to an overtime situation. And remember last year, Springdale beat both Forest Smith schools. There's a handoff inside, good running room, and he's finally brought down. He's going to get another 1st and 10, and the north side line opening up some big holes there for their running backs, and once those running backs get ahead of steam, they're difficult to bring down. Ball's right outside the 30-yard line, 10-17 and counting. Springdale defense really needs to step up now. Smith Peters, Harold Simmons, Coble, Dustin Douglas. He hands off to his running back, and that plumb, the Bulldogs really did an excellent job coming forward, and he really had nowhere to go. They're going to mark him losing about a half yard, be 2nd down and about 10.5 to go. So far, it's been a game of turnovers, and the way it's going, if one of these teams scores, it could well be the game. He rolls out, he's got a man, catches the ball, And it's incredible how he catches it. We got some taunting going on the sidelines. Tim Williams goes out of the sideline. Of course, Butch Walker comes over and puts his 2 cents in. And Springdale better watch that. 1st and 10. The Grizzlies are moving the football. They're at the 41-yard line. This has been quite a defensive struggle. Both teams putting together 2 or 3 1st and 10s and then getting stopped by the defense, and that's what Springdale needs to do right now. Edwards takes his time, takes the snap, hands off to the first man through. He gets by and just determined running. And I tell you what, Springdale just not able to wrap up the ball carrier and bring him down. That's Mario Gurl, a junior fullback in there. 2nd down 4. Ball is at the Grizzly 47-yard line, 8:50 and counting. Edwards hands off to the tailback. He's got running room, and he's going to be up close to a 1st and 10. It's going to depend on the mark. He's inside Springdale territory to the 49-yard line. The official looking it over, and we may have a measurement. And indeed we do. And I tell you what, my prediction is that you're going to look at, he's going to have the 1st and 10 by just the nose of the football. We'll see how accurate I am. While we're waiting for that measurement, you know, in life, there is a measurement too, and it's whether you and I can measure up to perfection. That's kind of difficult to do. In fact, it's impossible to do. There's only one person that's ever done that, and that's Jesus Christ. We might come close, but close doesn't count. The only way you can measure up is with a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's what Elmdale Baptist Church is all about, helping people come to know Christ as their personal Savior. If you've not measured up by inviting Jesus into your heart, I invite you to do just exactly that. That's the only way to be a winner in the game of life. That message brought to you by Elmdale Baptist Church, 1700 West Huntsville. All right, 3rd and inches. Edwards comes down the line. He's held and stopped by the Bulldogs. I tell you what, all he had to do was make about 6 inches, if that much, and he was stopped by the Bulldogs. 4th down now and about 3 yards, and the Grizzlies are going to punt, or at least they appear to be going to punt. Now, we remember well the fake from last week. That's an incredible play. Edwards was coming down the line for the option play, and the Bulldogs just made a tremendous play there. Trollinger drops deep along with Bewley and Williams. There's the snap. Good booming punt. Fair catch call for by the Bulldogs. They drop it. Oh my goodness. Well, I said it just a few minutes ago. This one is being settled by turnovers, and that one could well be a very, very costly turnover on a fair catch attempt. Todd Bewley just let the ball go through his hands and couldn't fall on it. Good coverage by the Grizzlies, and they fall on the ball at the 14-yard line, and so Springdale really going to have to stiffen up on defense now. 7:27 left in this game, 0-0. There's Edwards coming down the line. The Bulldogs, good defense, and they drive him back to about the 19-yard line. Good play by the Springdale defense there, and they've so far been able to stop the Grizzlies the last couple of plays. Kenny Jones loses a couple of yards. 2nd down 12. Ball is now at the 16-yard line. 7:05 and counting in this scoreless game. Northside has a good field goal kicker. He was just wide right in the first quarter with a field goal. Edwards takes his time. Timeout's called by the coaching staff. With that timeout, we'll take a timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
First National Bank of Springdale is with you every day. We're with you when you're planning your future, or when when you're building your future, or when you're enjoying the rewards of your labor. We've been a locally owned bank since 1907, helping to make your dreams come true then, and helping to make your dreams come true now. We're everything you want in a bank. We're First National Bank of Springdale. We're with you.
Well, welcome back. There you see the scoreboard, 6:45 left, zip to zip. We've had a lot of threats in this game, both teams really, and it's been a defensive struggle, some good hard hits. But so far the story of the game has been the turnovers that both teams have committed. And I tell you what, if the Northside Grizzlies ever want to help Springdale, it'd be a good time right now to turn it over. A defensive front for Springdale, playing a tough football game. Brian Smith-Peters, the nose guard. Sean Coble, Harold Simmons, Corey Wagner, Dustin Douglas. Second down, 12 yards to go from the 16, 6:45. Edwards takes the snap, hands off to the tailback. He's got plenty of running room, one man to beat. He gets down to about the 1 yard line as Jason Price stops him, and we've got a Bulldog hurt on the play. And I'm not exactly sure who at this point, but he appears to be hurt very badly. Yeah, maybe Williams. I've not seen him yet. May just be a cramp from the way he's looking. First and goal for the Grizzlies now. The ball is just inside the 2 yard line. Yeah, once again, we've seen the tailback for the Grizzlies do that, just get a head of steam going, and tough to bring down. Yeah, we'll wait and see. We've got it as being Tim Williams. It may just be a cramp, or he may have gotten hit in the leg. Ball is just inside the 2 yard line. It's first and goal with 6:38 left in this football game. Now there they get him up. And he gets a good round of applause from the Northside folks as well. Tim Williams played a great game and made some key tackles. So, boy, listen, if ever there's a need for the goal line stand, it's right here for the Springdale Bulldogs. They need to make something happen in a big way. There you see the Northside offense. Price made the touchdown-saving tackle. I started to say game-saving tackle because this late, the way things are going, it may be that that's all it would take. All right, they split things out wide. Still in the I formation. They hand off for a touchdown. And so Northside goes on top with 6:28 left. Kenny Jones, the fullback, just banged it into the end zone. And the Bulldogs find themselves behind for the first time tonight. And the first time since the first ball game of the year against Jinx. Here's a PAT attempt. This will be crucial. There's the snap. The kick is up and good. And so with 6:28 left in the game, the score is Northside 7, Springdale nothing. We'll be back in a moment.
Love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
To forsake.
We've heard a lot about safe sex lately.
And cleave only to you.
And cleave only to you.
God's had a plan all along.
As long as we both shall live.
What is pizza integrity?
Pizza, pasta, salad, dessert.
That's pizza integrity. That's Pizza Inn.
Some of America's most priceless treasures are not found in concrete and steel or on the side of a mountain, but in the faces of our children. In today's world, they need a firm moral and spiritual foundation more than ever.
Here we go with the kickoff. It's taken by the up man Trollinger at the 20-yard line. He snakes his way past the 30-yard line to about the 33-yard line. And so the Bulldogs will have pretty good field position from which to set up in what has to be for them the key drive and possession of the ball game. With 6:23 left, you would think that Springdale would maybe only get one more possession after this one. And so the Bulldogs need to drive the football down the length of the field and get a score and hopefully tie this thing up with a chance to go into overtime. Reed has Trollinger in the backfield. He drops back, gets some rush, sets up, still rolls, got a man wide open down the sideline, down to about the 28-yard line. Clay Galloway had drifted behind the defenders and is bumped out of bounds finally. Excellent play by Jim Ed Reed as he just was patient, eluded the initial rush, rolled out to his right, saw Galloway and just tossed the ball down the sideline to him, and Galloway had drifted behind all of the defenders, and Springdale at 5:57 sets up with a 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line of the Grizzlies. And so very quickly back in the hunt, the Bulldogs. Trollinger, the lone setback, draw play to him. He's going to come around to the left end, and he doesn't go anywhere as he's wrapped up. And he's slow getting up. He's going to be dropped at the 31-yard line, so it'll bring up a 2nd down and about 13 yards to go. 5:38 and counting. The Bulldogs' running game just hasn't been able to untrack tonight. And been tough sledding. Reed's had probably the most carries from rolling out and the quarterback position. Chastain split out wide. He drops back. There's a blitz play on. And this is going to be key if he can get by. He gets by one man, comes down the corner, throws the ball out of bounds, and eludes the sack. And so good play by Reed there as Northside had an all-out blitz called that time. Friesen was the lone back. They blitzed several Grizzlies on that play. And Jim Ed Reed could have been dropped back at about the 45-yard line. And as it is, he was able to get the ball away. 3rd down and 13. You would think this late in the game and in this position in the field at the 31-yard line, this would be a 2-down situation for the Bulldogs. Both sides on their feet, cheering their teams on. Friesen sets up the block. He's going to get pressure. He gets the ball off to Davenport. He's got a 1st and 10. Inside the 20-yard line. Excellent play. Joe Davenport, boy, he got smacked too after catching that. And Davenport coming back from mononucleosis. And I tell you what, he came back at a good time. Springdale gets a 1st and 10. The ball is marked at the 17-yard line. And this has been one great football game. And I tell you what, I've only seen maybe one time these two teams have met, and it wasn't a hard-fought, close football game. The Bulldogs on the 17-yard line with 4:42, plenty of time left in this game. Friesen, the lone setback. We've got a timeout. With that, we're going to take a 30-second timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, The few, the proud, the Marines.
Jim Ed Reed came to the line of scrimmage and called timeout, and that's where we stand at this point in the game. There you see some of the students who made the trip down Highway 71 trying to cheer the Springdale Bulldogs on. 4:36 left in the game. Appreciate you being a part of this exclusive playback as we travel with the Bulldogs down Highway 71. Well, there you see from our field camera just a little bit about where the ball sits. Springdale behind 7-0. If you've joined us late, many turnovers have plagued both teams, but have seemed to plague Springdale particularly. Burks in motion. Reed drops back, sets up, has a man in the end zone. We're going to have interference called on somebody, and this is anybody's guess who they're going to call it on. We'll know in a second by the players' reaction. Pass interference against Northside. Well, that'll give Springdale a 1st and 10. Springdale, one of the things they can do with Davenport being as tall, as big as he is just put him in the end zone and let him play jump ball, 6'7". How many times have you seen that? A football team just toss the ball up, and Davenport, all of the defensive backs for the Grizzlies, very small. So it'll be a 1st and goal situation, 4:31 for the Bulldogs. The ball is at the 8-yard line. 4 downs for the Bulldogs to try to get into the end zone. Reed drops back, gets a tremendous rush, and is finally going to be brought down at the 24-yard line, a 16-yard loss. Well, the offensive line for the Springdale Bulldogs has really played a great game, and just at the wrong time, the Grizzlies make a crucial sack, and we're going to have a timeout. With that timeout, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
His temperature's up a little bit. Okay, thank you.
Captain, we have a problem back here. Let's get some light on. He's in VTAC now.
How you doing?
Feeling a little dizzy.
Start an IV, bolus of lidocaine.
You are 200 miles north of the nearest hospital and 31,000 feet above it.
300 Zulu.
In the Air Force, you really have to know what you're doing because there's no one there to do it for you.
You're gonna be fine.
Aim high. Air Force.
Well, how many times can you dodge a bullet? Jim Ed Reed has been dodging several tonight, and finally the odds caught up with him as he was dropped there on a crucial 1st and goal situation. The Dogs had the ball at the 8-yard line after a pass interference penalty in the end zone against Northside. And good rush put on by the Grizzlies, and the Bulldogs were dropped back at the 24-yard line. 1st and 24 is the call for Springdale. Again, a serious rush. Incomplete. Reed was just really dumping off the ball, almost intercepted. The linebacker caught it, but he caught it out of bounds. And so we have a 3rd down situation for the Bulldogs. The Grizzlies giving fierce pass rush, just not allowing Reed to set up. So we still have 24 yards to go, 3rd down now. Trollinger back in. Reed drops back, screen pass. He's got Trollinger in the middle of the field, uses a referee for a blocker, gets down inside the 10-yard line to the 9-yard line. So it's going to bring up a crucial 4th down situation. And good call by the coaches, and Springdale's going to take its 3rd and final timeout. We'll keep it here during this timeout break as the Friday Night Flights helicopter comes in, and they hover over the field They couldn't pick a better time to come. We tried to get a shot of it, but I don't think we got it there. Springdale comes in. This is could very well be the football game right here. Springdale needs to get in the end zone. There's still 3:29. It is conceivable that Springdale could, if they do not convert here, hold Northside and have another opportunity. But this, any way you look at it, is a big, big possession and a big down. A great high school football game. And a lot of people probably would be surprised if you had called this game to be this way earlier in the year. A lot of people overlooked Springdale. But I tell you what, Springdale Bulldogs are always in the thick of the race at Quad 4A West. Grizzly fans entreating their fans, or the players entreating their fans. Everybody's on their feet. 4th down, 3:29. The ball just inside the 10-yard line. Trottinger, the lone setback. Reed back. Here's an all-out blitz. Reed rolls out to his left, throws, intercepted in the end zone. Well, they called it incomplete, and there's going to be some debate from the officials, and they are going to call it an interception. So the ball goes over. Reed had a man, but he had excellent coverage. Again, Northside sent its linebackers on a blitz, and so the ball goes over at 3:23 as it was intercepted in the end zone. What's even more crucial there is that's about a 10-yard pickup for Northside. Springdale's defense, and by my counts, they're out of first downs. If they get the ball back, it would be with just a very, very few seconds left in the game. Well, it was a turnover that led to Northside's win, or what appears to be a win, or at least their score. Edwards just dives forward, gets about a yard. Bulldogs wrestling for the ball, but they called it down. Clock is running, 3:10 and counting. As you remember, the Bulldogs fumbled a punt, and that gave the Grizzlies a 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line, and they cashed in. 3 minutes, now under 3 minutes, 2nd down 8, and you can be sure that the Grizzlies are going to run off every second they can off the clock. If Springdale holds here, they may have just a few seconds in which to do something. No timeouts left. There's a handoff to the up man. Several Bulldogs bring him down. He gets out to about the 26-yard line. Key 3rd down situation. About 3rd and 4 for the Grizzlies. 2:25 and counting. This is a kind of ball game you hate to see really come down to the kinds of things that it did. The turnovers were costly for both teams, but especially for the Bulldogs. They fought and fought hard. By the time this ball snapped, it'll be under 2 minutes. We're going to have an offside. Looks like great play by the Bulldogs as they stop him on 3rd down. I thought the guard was offsides. That would have at least stopped the clock. The Bulldogs would have declined. And the Bulldogs are going to have another crack at this as it's 4th down and about 5 yards to go. Northside sends in their punting team, and we'll have to see if Springdale try to get a block set up on this. Springdale still has a chance. By the time this ball is snapped, they'll have about a minute, and it looks as if the coach is going to take a penalty, and they are. Delay of game penalty is going to back it up 5 yards and put the ball at the 20-yard line to be 4th down and 10 yards to go. I've never quite understood why coaches do that. If you snap the ball and punted it, you keep the clock running, and it would have been conceivable that the Bulldogs would have gotten the ball with about a minute left, but perhaps this allows them to set up and a little less pressure. There's the punter. We'll keep the shot on him. Let's see if the Bulldogs can do it. They're all lined up, 10 men on the front line of scrimmage. Let's see if they can pull it off. Trollinger's back deep, the lone Bulldog deep. They go for it, and he gets it off. Trollinger's going to take the punt at the 49-yard line, get inside Grizzly territory to the 47. There's a minute 12 left on the clock, and Springdale will have to play its 1-minute offense here. 47 yards from the end zone. 1:12 on the clock. As soon as the officials get this set, they'll start the clock, and so Jim Ed Reed needs to get to the line of scrimmage. The official rolls the clock. It's moving now, 1:10. Reed takes his time, sets up, calls the play, looks deep, throws to a man, and he's run out of bounds. They call him inbounds, and so the clock is running. That is a horrible call. Clock running at 52 seconds. The Bulldogs come up to the line of scrimmage. The pass was complete, but only to the 44-yard line. Reed calls an audible at the line of scrimmage. No timeouts. That's crucial for the Bulldogs. He drops back. Maybe 2 more plays left for the Bulldogs. He's going to just chunk this ball. It's going to get hit and drop, and the Bulldogs will have to hustle to get back to get another play off, and their receivers just sort of wandering around. This is a place where practice really comes into play. The Bulldogs will have 1 more chance left, 3rd and about 9, and this is going to be it for the Bulldogs. Reed drops back. Good coverage. He just heaves it deep, looking for, well, he was looking for Davenport. Davenport had to play defender. There's 7 seconds left on the clock. It'll be a 4th and 9 situation. And the Bulldogs, with the clock stopped, will be able to get a little bit more time to set some miracle play up. And boy, you just hope Jim Ed Reed could pull a Colorado here, because the Bulldogs are going to need a miracle to pull this one off. This one's going to be a tough one, I believe, for the Bulldogs to take, because they had the opportunities to win this football game, and because of turnovers and interceptions, just unable to do it. So leaving Springdale's ledger at 2-2, 1-1 in conference. Reed drops back, throws down into the middle of the field, and the ball is incomplete. 1 second, the ball is turned over on downs, and that's the end of the game, and for all practical purposes. 1 second left. But Springdale Bulldogs are going to take their first Quad 4A West defeat at the hands of an old nemesis. The Grizzlies of Northside get back in their hunt for a championship, and this is going to be a pivotal game for the playoffs. 1 second left, and everyone begins to head for the exits, because I know that this one is all over. Well, tonight, thank our crew for making the trip. John Brooks is our director. Shelley Williams handles the main camera up here. Jeff Kimes. We had several. Josh Hammonds on the field. Randall Reynolds. And I know I'm probably forgetting somebody. Richard Bohannon. We had a score of people. Jeff Kimes. That's the ball game. With no time left on the scoreboard, turnovers was the story as the Northside Grizzlies defeat the Springdale Bulldogs 7-0. And the Bulldogs will need to regroup next week against another tough opponent in Rogers. Thanks for watching tonight. I'm Mark Brooks, your play-by-play host. We hope you've enjoyed this exclusive playback, and we'll see you again next week with Springdale Bulldog football. You have a good evening.